And especially Alfredo Husem for giving me the opportunity to talk here today. My talk has disappeared. It's not. This talk is a joint work with several people. First of all, Regina Boracic, Juan Enrique Martinez Legas, and some Iranian student, Mubabe. And I would like also to say that I am happy to be in this work, and I thank very much Regina for pushing me to come back to monotone operator theory. This theory that I left maybe around 10 years ago. I worked in this theory many years, but I left for working in some other subject like variational analysis and error bounds property. And finally, also, I want to say that I want to dedicate this talk to Vladimir Demyanov, who passed away some months ago, and who was a very good mathematician and also a good friend. So, here is the outline of the talk. I will spend some time to recall, first to give the motivation of my talk, then to recall some basic facts on monotone operator theory, then give a new family of enlargement, and if I have time enough, to speak about additivity and max additivity of monotone operators, and finally consider the case, the special case, where the monotone operator, the maximal monotone operator, is a subdifferential of a lower semi-continuous function. Okay, so this talk is mainly motivated by the study of generalized equations governed by maximally monotone operator, T from Banach space X to its continuous dual X star, and more specifically, by the problem of finding a zero of the generalized equation, zero belong to T of X. And as you know, this problem has been extensively used for modeling various problems, and the set of solutions of such problems is relevant in optimization and in fixed point theory, both. Indeed, for instance, if you have a Hilbert space, and if T is the difference between the identity and F, where F is a non-expansive mapping, then the set of solutions of this equation 1 is exactly the set of fixed points of F. And also, if T is a maximally monotone operator, then the set of solutions of 1 coincides with the set of fixed points of the resolvent R, which is the inverse of the identity plus lambda T, or also of the Cayley operator C, which is equal to 2 times the resolvents minus the identity. And finally, when T is the subdifferential of a convex lower semi-continuous proper function, then, as you know, the set of solutions of 1 coincides with the set of minimizer of F. Okay, so some more words about the motivation. Problem 1, this problem could be ill-behaved, making the computation here hard, and we need to find perturbation of the problem by enlarging the initial operator T without losing information on T, in order that the perturbed problem remains numerically more robust, and the solution approximates accurately the solution of the original problem. And the use of enlargement in the study of this problem has been a fruitful approach from the abstract point of view and from the numerical point of view in optimization. for the case where t is a subdifferential of a lower semi-continuous function. And it has allowed to construct a specific numerical method for convex non-smooth optimization, and here subnames, but there are many other names: Ostrander, Kiviel, Le Maréchal, and Sagastizabal, Solodov. Okay. Using the approximation approach as a benchmark, we want to study this problem of finding the zero of a maximal monotone operator by using enlargement of T. We will recall first some fact already known about maximally monotone operators, and then introduce a new enlargement. Enlargement, and in particular this new enlargement, should share with the well-known epsilon subdifferential used in convex optimization most of its good properties: local boundedness, demi-closedness of the graph, Lipschitz continuity, and also what we call the Bronsted-Rockefeller property. Okay? So, first of all, when you have a proper function, the domain and the subdifferential, which is well known, and also the epsilon subdifferential associated to the function f, which is given by the formula in red 3. And the case epsilon equals 0 gives the subdifferential of f, of course. And for every epsilon positive, and x in the domain, the set where the function is finite, the epsilon subdifferential, in contrast to the subdifferential, is always non-empty. Okay, now you consider a set-valued mapping from x to x star, which satisfy this property for every pair x star and y star in the graph of the operator. It is called monotone if this property in blue is satisfied. This is well known. And now we have also the concept of maximally monotone if the operator T has no monotone extension for the inclusion of graphs, because an operator can be defined with this graph, okay? Identified with this graph. And the essential fact in the theory of monotone operator, one of the essential part, is when we consider the subdifferential of a lower semi-continuous function. And it is well known that it is a maximally monotone operator. This goes back to Moreau, who, by the way, also died this year. Jean-Jacques Moreau was one of the founders of convex analysis with Theory Rockefeller at the same time, 50 years ago. And he was the first to prove this result for Hilbert spaces in 1965. And then Rockefeller proved it in 1970 for Banach spaces. And after, we have many, many proofs using different techniques, and in particular, using the techniques called, that I will introduce later, the Fitzpatrick functions. Okay. We need also, for this talk, the concept of conjugate, Frenchel-Moreau, and also I can define this function J of two variables, x and x star, so defined on x times the dual of x, which is defined by f of x plus f star of x star. And this function is convex, proper, and lower semi-continuous for the strong topology in X and the weak star topology on the dual. Okay? And a basic fact about this function is that it completely characterizes the graph of the subdifferential of f. That is, the subdifferential of f of x is equal to the set of x star in the dual, such that f of x plus fx star of x star is equal to g of s of x and x star, and equal to the duality product between x and x star. Okay? And we can call this function the Fenchel-Young function associated to f. Also, because Fenchel was at the very beginning of the concept of convex analysis, before Rockefeller and Morrow. Okay? So, let me speak a little bit about the Fitzpatrick function. And we have a maximally monotone operator T, and we will define a family of convex functions associated to it as follows. This family will be named H of T, and it is a family which consists of lower semi-continuous functions of two variables defined on x times x star with value in R bar, which means it can take the value minus infinity and plus infinity. And this family satisfies inequality 5 and include this implication 6, h of x and v. In fact, I should write x star because this is written for Hilbert space originally, and is greater than the duality product between x star and x. And if v belongs to t of x, then h of x and v equals the duality product between v and x. And this family has the smallest element, which is called the Fitzpatrick function, and which was introduced in 1988 in a very nice paper, rather unknown at this time by the community, because it was in the proceeding of an Australian Math Society journal, I don't remember exactly. And it is this Fitzpatrick function which has nowadays a very important role in the theory of maximally monotone operators, could be defined by this formula. Okay, it is a function of two variables. It belongs to this family h of t, and it is defined as the supremum of these guys when y and y star run on the graph of t. Okay? And similarly, or equivalently, it can be defined also by this formula. And concerning Fitzpatrick function, we have experts in this audience. I can recall some basic facts. Not all, of course. Given a maximally monotone operator T, if G, for all J belong to this family H of T, one have G of x and x star equal x star, if and only if x star is in the graph of T. And when T is a subdifferential of lower semi-continuous function, you have this set inequality. The Fitzpatrick function of the subdifferential is in between x star and the Fenchel-Young function associated to f. Okay? And considering Fitzpatrick function has led to a considerable simplification in the proof of classical property of maximally monotone operators. And we have many, many papers, and very good papers, for instance, from Stephen Simons, Marquez Alves and Sveiter, Simons and Zalinescu, Bowen, and so on and so on. Okay? And Fitzpatrick also has defined a correspondence which goes in the opposite direction, which means that given a proper convex function J from x times x star to the extended reals, R union plus infinity, you can define an operator from X, a set-valued mapping from X to X star, T sub J, associated to J, by this formula. T sub J of X is a set of X star in X star, such that the pair X star X belongs to the subdifferential of G at X star. So we have the functional Young, as I said, function associated to F, and the one fact is that the operator associated to the Fenchel-Young function is exactly subdifferential of F. Okay? And if T is a maximally monotone operator, and if H belongs to this family I've defined H of T, then T is equal to the operator associated to H. Now, I want to talk about autoconjugate representation of a maximally monotone operator. And I want to remind a function G from H of T to H of T, which was defined, for instance, by in the paper by Bohacik and Sveiter in 2002. And it was defined in this way. When you take H in this family, then you define G of H by this formula 9 in red. In fact, G swaps the variable of the conjugate, as you see, and it was shown in this paper by Bohacik and Sveiter that G is an order reversing bijection from H of T into itself, and that also G composition with G equal is an identity, sorry, G2 is an identity, okay, in H of T. And when H belongs to H of T, satisfy E of H equal H, we say that H is an autoconjugate representation of T. And now, from this, at this level, I think it is natural to look to, when considering maximally monotone operator, it is natural to look to for autoconjugate representation when searching for an enlargement which is structurally closer to the epsilon subdifferential. It is exactly what we have in mind during this talk and in the corresponding paper. Non-constructive example of autoconjugate representation of T has been given, for instance, by Penaud in 2003. Constructive example of autoconjugate of T have been also given by Penaud and Zaninescu in 2005, by Boschke and Wang and Yao in 2010. Now, briefly, I want to introduce another map, A, script A, from gamma 0 to gamma 0, given by this formula TED, A of H equal 1/2 of H plus G of H, and where gamma 0, as usual, is in the terminology of Moreau, is a set of G, but defined on X times X star, which are convex, proper, and lower semi-continuous. You have also these things, this set and this set, but I think I will use it later. And one fact, at least 3 facts, about this, that if you consider this function A, this mapping A, and if you consider now the sequence for H given A to N of H, this sequence, it is pointwise non-increasing and converges pointwise to a fixed point, which I call A infinity of H, a fixed point of A. And with this, the domain of A infinity of H is exactly the intersection of the domain of H with the domain of G of H. And A infinity of H in general is not an autoconjugate of T, but if you take H in this set, which means in this set here, okay, then, and if you assume that the domain of H is equal to the domain of G of H, then you have an autoconjugate of T. Okay? Now, a natural enlargement, because now we have to talk about enlargement. Okay? This is what it was just the introduction. Okay? And so, a natural enlargement of an operator is a monotone operator is defined by this formula. Okay? It's exactly the same thing that for a monotone operator, but you replace 0 by minus epsilon. Okay? And it is known that if T is maximally monotone, then when epsilon equal to 0, it is T. And if T is a subdifferential, then T is included in this set, in this operator. And we proved with Martinez-Legaz in a long time ago in a paper published in Journal of Nonlinear and Convex Analysis that the inclusion may be strict. And also, important is the fact that T epsilon shares with the epsilon subdifferential of a proper lower semicontinuous function many properties. And the property we are interested in, which means local boundedness, demi-closure of a glass, transportation formula, Lipschitz continuity, regardless of T being or not a subdifferential. Additionally, if X is a reflexive Banach space, T epsilon also satisfies the Bronsted-Rockefeller property. Okay? So, the Bronsted-Rockefeller property, briefly speaking, was defined by Bronsted and Rockefeller in a famous paper for the subdifferential of lower semicontinuous function. And, but we can say that an operator satisfies the Bronsted-Rockefeller property if we have this, if we have this, then there exists X bar and X bar star in the graph of T such that these two things happen. And it was proved in Torralba thesis, a student of Hedi Hattush, in 1996, that in any reflexive Banach space, every maximally monotone operator has a Bronsted-Rockefeller property. Okay? So, now the family of enlargement of T. So, we have a multifunction T, and we define another multifunction E from R plus times X to X star. And T belongs to this family E of T if it satisfies E1, E2, and E3. And E3 is known as the transportation formula. Okay? And this family was introduced and studied by Sweater in 2000, and it is closely related, connected to the family H of T I defined previously. And there are many papers talking about this, and in particular, for instance, a paper by Burachik, several papers by Burachik and Sweater in 1999, 2002, and 2006. And this family, E of T, okay, shares with the epsilon subdifferential the property I consider as important. I want to consider for enlargement, local boundedness, demi-closedness of the graph, Lipschitz continuity and Bronsted-Rockefeller property. And one fact is that T epsilon is the largest member. You remember T epsilon, the previous enlargement I have defined, is a member of this family. And when T is a subdifferential of a lower subcontinuous function, T epsilon is strictly larger than the epsilon subdifferential. I have already said this. Okay? And now I will, the epsilon subdifferential, since it is an enlargement and according to the previous definition I gave of enlargement, I will note the epsilon subdifferential with two variables, epsilon and x, and I will call this, I don't know how to say this, it's breve, anti/breve in tech, but I don't know how to say in English. You see this? And this, I will call this the Bronsted-Rockefeller enlargement of the subdifferential. And the transportation formula holds for the Bronsted-Rockefeller enlargement. And if the domain of the operator is non-empty, the family of enlargement is non-empty, and the biggest element is T epsilon. And also, the epsilon enlargement belongs to the enlargement of the family of enlargement, of course. And now, I want to define a new family which the inspiration goes back to the famous 1988 paper by Fitzpatrick. And if you have a monotone operator from X to X star with a non-empty domain, you fix a function h in h of t, okay? And you consider this point to set mapping, this set value mapping, t sub h of epsilon and x is equal to set of x star in the dual, such that the pair x star x belongs to the subdifferential of h. You remember that h is a function of two variables, okay? So the subdifferential of h with my notation, you have two variables, x and x star, and two epsilon. And from this definition, if G belongs to h of t, then the operator associated to J is exactly this enlargement at 0 at x. And we have a proposition that this new family is an enlargement, of course, belongs to the enlargement of T. And if H belongs to H of T, if X is a reflexive Ballard space, so the set is convex, the graph is demi-closed, and if T is a maximally monotone operator and H belongs to H of T, then T of X is exactly T grave sub H at 0 and X for every X in the domain of T. Also, you have this, if T is a maximally monotone operator, you have this. So briefly now, I want to say that this operator has all the good properties of the epsilon subdifferential. I wanted to have Lipschitz continuity, Bronsted-Rockefeller property. Now, I have 2 or 3 minutes, I think. I want to speak briefly about additivity, which means that if you have an enlargement, it is said to be additive when for every x star and y star in the enlargement with epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, then you have this formula 13. And we say that an enlargement is maximally additive, max add for short, when there exists an enlargement such that this enlargement is additive and satisfies this. And if it satisfies this, then, of course, since it is maximal, E equal E prime. Okay? And some fact, this fact go back to Slater. When T is the subdifferential of a function, the subdifferential, the epsilon subdifferential is max add. And for an arbitrary operator T, the smallest enlargement of T is always additive, and the existence of a max add enlargement is deduced from the zone lemma. Okay, now it has been proved that in the Hilbert space setting, if T is a maximally monotone operator, then you have this formula for the, if E is epsilon, you should read epsilon, okay? One fact more, that if H belongs to the family H of T, then this T sub H, T breve sub H is additive, and if H equal H star, then this operator is max add. And finally, the relation between the new enlargement and the epsilon subdifferential, when T is the subdifferential of a lower semi-continuous proper function, okay, for any epsilon positive and x in the domain of the subdifferential, you have that this new enlargement, but with epsilon over 2, is included in the epsilon subdifferential. It means that some specific elements of H of T are contained in the epsilon subdifferential enlargement. Okay? But now also we have that this formula, which means that a specific element of H of T coincide with the epsilon subdifferential. Okay? Conclusion. Last. Okay? I'm almost over. We have introduced a new enlargement giving all the good properties of non-enlargement, plus the properties that all its members are max add. When T is the subdifferential of a lower semi-continuous function, some specific element of this family are included in the epsilon subdifferential. And finally, a specific element of this family coincides with the epsilon subdifferential when T equals dm. By the way, for this last sentence, I have worked more than 10 years ago during the time of a thesis. I had a student on this thesis, and we were not able to prove this. But now we can do that. And some basic references related to this work. The work by Fitzpatrick of 1988. My paper with Martinez Legas, 96. And several papers, not all, but several very important papers in this direction by Buracik, Youssef, and Zweiter. Buracik and Zweiter alone. And now this paper is almost finished and almost ready to be submitted soon, I think. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, President.